There's a very interesting clip. It's a long clip, but I think there's a lot of stuff in this which actually is very, very, very inspirational. In a sense, when I show this clip, I don't need to ask a question, Harsha. You know, you're answering a lot of it. Now. But I want you to elaborate further on this clip, on this next clip.
And yet you find that excellence is not about talent alone. In fact, a major, major part of excellence has nothing to do with talent. And in course of time, once you go beyond a certain level, ability or talent is the most useless virtue to possess. It's what you do with that talent that matters. And that's why he used a word, Mukesh used a word that I love, attitude. Beyond a point, it is attitude that counts for far, 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 far more than talent. Because talent breeds an ego. And talent never solves problems beyond a point. And I was fascinated by something that Sandy Gordon said when we were doing a program together. Because I had seen a lot of young cricketers, extremely talented, who the moment they faced a roadblock did not know what to do. Because they had never had to struggle to succeed. They always used their talent to succeed. And Vinod Kambli is an example of that. The moment Courtney Walsh bounced him in Bombay, he was 22 years old. Was he? Yeah, he was 22 years old then. In 1994, he was 22 years old. Didn't know what to do, did not play a test match after that. His last test match was when he was 22 years old. Just did not know how to play the bouncing ball because talent had solved everything for him before. In the Australian Army, when they are, and this is something that doesn't come from sport, but it's something a sports scientist told me, that when they're building an elite core team, they look at your career record, your track record, and if you've never failed, they don't pick you. They don't pick you because they say, if this man experiences failure, will he know what to do? They pick people who failed and bounced back. And that is where your attitude comes through. And, I mean, let's look at excellence. What is excellence about? It's about being in the top 10% in your profession. I mean, I know I'm talking to people who want to be in the top 1%, but there are a lot of ordinary people around us around. So let's say top 10%. Is talent important when you get to be in the top 10%? I mean, everybody in the top 10% will have the same talent, right? So what's your USP? It's what you do with the talent that counts. And unfortunately in our sport, and I think in India as a nation, we're dazzled by talent a great deal. I have found that beyond a certain time, in sport, as indeed in broadcasting, that your work ethic and your attitude counts from far, far more than talent. I mean, Tendulkar is a prime example. The moment you say Tendulkar, if I asked you to, if you had one of those things that talk show hosts do, I'll give you a word and you give me a connecting word in one word. You say Tendulkar, you'll say talent, right? He played 55 games as a 14-year-old without a break. 55 days. He'd practice for 2 hours, play a game, practice 2 hours, fall asleep on the dining table. And do that 55 days in a row. That's attitude. You know, we think, and this is something we talk about in our corporate lectures as well, where we advise against talent. When Tendulkar was born, it wasn't that this nurse picked him up and said, here, Mrs. Tendulkar, here's 70 hundreds for you. Yeah? It isn't Tendulkar's talent that's produced 70 hundreds. It's his work ethic, it's his attitude, and more than anything else, when you reach the top, it's his passion to perform. And that counts for far more. The attitude and the passion counts for far, 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 far more than ability. Ability opens the first door. It might open the second door. It's not going to open the last door for you. Because the guy who's bowling the ball at you has got equal ability as you. He's not going to run up to bowl and say, oh, sorry, you're a genius. Sorry, I'll give you a simple ball. Which is what India's bowlers did in 1948 when they went to Australia. They were so much in awe that they said, we are going to bowl to Bradman.
And they wanted to be the bowler that bowled the ball that got Bradman his record. How are we going to get him out?
Yeah, exactly.
It was an easy one for us. We talk about that a lot in our corporate program. So actually all that you heard there was something I picked out of what we do on the winning way. Because, I mean, yeah, talent is good. Talent makes you look very nice, but talent doesn't open doors. It was very easy for me to relate to that because, I mean, I went to IIM Ahmedabad and I looked around and I saw talent of all kinds over there. And as one of my friends told me once, one of my friends came and knocked on the door at midnight. He just knocked on the door, one of my friends from Hyderabad. Knocked on the door and came and sat on my bed and wouldn't talk to me. So I said, क्या हुआ? He said, अपने को कैसा admission मिली यहाँ पे? because everybody around was that good. And I said, if talent is the name of the game in life, I got no chance, man. But it's what you do with the talent that matters. You work your backside off, you take every chance that you get. It becomes a way of life, and I've been very lucky that every time it seems that I'm moving away from the work ethic is God principle, I've got somebody at home who pushes me back. So from that point of view, yeah, talent is okay up to a point, but if talent is all you got, you're a very poor man.
And just as an exercise, everybody can kind of look back and think of people in your school or college who were like absolutely brilliant, right? There were many people like that, and you thought, oh, this person's going to really go a long way. And then you see them after 20 years, and not all of them are really doing that well. And on the other hand, there are lots of surprises. People who you didn't think were so great have done exceptionally well, and a lot of it has to do with attitude. This clip that you showed is quite old now. Yeah. But, today's world is far more volatile.
Yes.
Too much disruption happening around, and you require far more than your functional skills.
So how would you update?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so people are actually
this?
questioning what a skill is, because it's not okay to know how to write software or know some financial package and things like that. You should also be resilient, because there's so much failure happening around. You should be able to handle pressure. You should be an optimist. You should know how to work in a team. There are many, many such challenges, and so people are saying that these are also skills that one must kind of, when interviews are done, are you testing people on these? Because it is very important. And when you're writing your CV, are you saying that, I'm this kind of a person? Because that is going to make a difference.
We talk a lot about bone china players. Look very nice, dazzling, plays a gorgeous cover drive, looks beautiful, bone china, you put it in the crockery. One fall and it breaks, right? Are you bone china people? Can you handle defeat? Because she said the word in Indian business today is VUCA, right? So can you live in a world that is changing overnight, almost? Suddenly product categories are being wiped out, everything is suddenly going, and you wake up in the morning and say, this is the world that I lived in yesterday, but can I still survive in that world? So these are the skills that are increasingly coming through. And if talent is all you've got about that much. But that is what we ask, is do you possess resilience? Do you possess optimism? Do you possess all these things? Otherwise, it's not much good.
And like he talked about Sandy Gordon saying, wouldn't pick a person who has never failed. First of all, there is hardly anybody who hasn't failed. So if somebody says, I haven't failed, either he doesn't want to address the issue or hasn't learned anything from failure, really, to talk about. But you find now, with so many startups around, CEOs say that even if it's a failed startup, it doesn't mean that the entrepreneur has failed. The entrepreneur has learned hell of a lot, and they value such people. Rather than somebody who has not done really anything, it's better that you tried and failed because you learned in the process. So people are actually valuing people like this.